Health matters. Prevention is better than cure. Don't do it. Go to bed. Ètò ìlera ó ṣe pàtàkì ó ṣe kókó. Health matters. Prevention is better than cure. Don't do it. Go to bed. Tiwa lórí ètò láti bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìlera rẹ̀. Àìsàn wo ló ń ṣe ọ́ tó bò máa bẹ́ aṣọ? Sọ́kà gbọ́ àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n á ṣàlàyé fún ẹ. Ẹni tó bá dákẹ́ dára ẹ̀yà dákẹ́. Tọ́jú ara rẹ̀ kó tó pẹ́ tọ́jú ètò ìlera. Ó ṣe pàtàkì ó ṣe kókó. Health matters. Prevention is better than cure. Tọ́jú ara rẹ̀ kó tó pẹ́.
Hello everyone, I want to welcome everybody onto the 14th edition of Health Matters program. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name remains Labake, also known as Elizabeth. I want to appreciate everybody who is online, and please do share on the Facebook, do share, and also there is a radio link sent to you. You can listen to it on the WhatsApp. You can actually share as well. So on today's program, I have a big fish. I have the honor of having the ex-mayor of the past mayor actually of Barking and Dagenham in the person of Councillor Sanchia, Alasia. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please, do you want to introduce yourself to my audience and tell them briefly about you?
Yes, so my name is Councillor Sanchia, Alasia. I was privileged to be the Mayor of the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham from May 2018 to May 2019. And really looking forward to discussing, some important health matters on this program today.
Thank you so much. So the reason why I have the councillor today on the program is because she has actually experienced this particular issue, and she's going to tell us what the particular issue is all about, how she was able to cope, how the difficulty she encountered. So if you want to tell my audience, actually, we are talking about endometriosis. So what is endometriosis?
Yes. So endometriosis is a condition that affects mainly women. It can affect women from any colour, any cultural background, any age. And basically, in its simplest form, tissue grows outside of your womb where it shouldn't be growing outside of your womb. So because it's growing in the wrong place, it causes pain in a number of different places in your body. There are 4 different stages. So stage 1 is the mildest form, going up to stage 4, which is the most severe form. And I was diagnosed in May 2010 with stage 4 endometriosis, which is the most severe form.
Oh, thank you. So if I actually get this right, you said you were diagnosed in May 2010.
Yes, that's
so that
right.
was actually the same time that you were a mayor.
I was first elected as a councillor to the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham in May 2010. So that was 9 years ago. So I was diagnosed 9 years ago. But I had been experiencing the symptoms from the age of a teenager, but it was undiagnosed. And that's the same. So it takes on average 7 years for a woman to be diagnosed with endometriosis. So it's a long time.
Oh,
yeah.
So how were you able to cope? Couple the fact of that you're the first citizen of Barking and Dagenham.
Right.
Everybody wants you at their function, and you just have to be there to greet. So how are you able to manage this particular illness?
Yeah, I mean, some days I have very mild discomfort. So when I have mild discomfort, I'm able to pretty much go about my business because I've lived with it for over 20 years. So I just go on. If I'm in some moderate pain, I would have to stay home, but there's some things that I can do. I can check my emails, I can make some phone calls. If I'm in severe pain, then basically there's nothing I can do. I'm bedbound. So during my mayoral year, I decided to highlight my condition by making Endometriosis UK, which is a charity, one of my mayoral charities. But in terms of how I coped, I had a lot of love and understanding from the local community. And there were sometimes times when I did have to rearrange events. So say, for example, I was going maybe to visit a church on a Sunday and I wasn't well, I would then arrange for another Sunday. Or if I was going to visit a charity or an organisation, I would rearrange and see them on another day. And I was able to pretty much rearrange all of my appointments bar one, because that one was very close to the end of my term and unfortunately I wasn't able to visit a particular school. But apart from that, I was pretty much able to rearrange everything. So sometimes I do have to rearrange my appointments.
Oh, thank you. So, Councillor Sanchia, my major question is this. You know, from the kind of our cultural background, we are always shy to discuss our mental health. What prompted you to even make it public? Why do you know, because of the stigma, did you not think, oh, what would people think? So what was that thing that motivates you to even make it known in the first place? Or is there something that was a law that says you have to disclose your illness, or it was just you? And can you tell us how, is there any time, that's the first question. The second one is there any time that you feel depressed, and how are you able to cope during that period?
Yeah, I mean, there's no obligation actually for me or anybody else with any health condition to disclose, unless you're doing certain hazardous things. So if I think about the council, if you're driving, for example, a dustbin truck, there are certain medical conditions that you have to disclose. But if you're office-based, which is what I am, and out and about in the community, there is actually no obligation. But I want people to talk about the issues they face. You see, everybody has health or mental health issues, and sometimes your mental health and health is in excellent condition, and sometimes it's not. Everybody has it, but everybody has it in different phases. So I want people to be able to talk freely about their health and their mental health, because none of us is perfect and we all have our struggles. And I wanted people to know that despite being the first citizen of the borough, I have my struggles. I'm a human being, just like everybody else, and I have my struggles, and I need encouragement, and I need love, and I need support. And so that was one of the themes. My theme during my mayoral year was no one left behind. Those people maybe with disabilities sometimes are left behind. With mental health issues are left behind, the single mothers and so on. So by me talking about my condition, I wanted to open up that, well, any issue you're facing, let's come together as a community and let's help each other, and let's not be ashamed, because each and every one of us have our condition and we have our issues to deal with.
Oh, thank you.
And you mentioned about depression.
Yeah.
I mean, I think because I've got such love and support from the community, from my family and from my husband, that keeps me going. There are bad days. I mean, actually, I had a really bad episode from Wednesday last week to Sunday. I was in bed at home. I had a really, really bad episode. It's unusual. Normally, I have 1 or 2 days a month where I'm totally flat out. But this month, I had 5 days, Wednesday to Sunday, and I was getting really frustrated. By Saturday, I was getting very frustrated. I want to be well again, but the pain was still there. But because I have such a loving husband and loving family and loving community, it really does help. And I obviously have my faith. I cry out to God, and that obviously helps me push through as well.
Oh, thank you so much. So I want you, audience and all viewers, wherever you're listening to me, whether in the UK, whether in Nigeria, whether in any other European country, did you notice what the mayors, actually the councillor, said earlier on? She said, I want people to freely talk about their mental health. She actually is not just going out to tell people to talk about their mental health. She is actually a model. She's actually an example. She just said there was no rules or laws that actually made her to disclose that medical condition. She might choose to actually just do the mayo and actually not let you know. But she's set up a good example by letting you know that it's okay to be unwell. And when people know you're unwell, there's nothing to laugh about. There's nothing to mock about. This is mental. This is why I tell people, it's okay to be unwell. It's okay not to be okay. And when you have nice family support, even if you don't have anyone, there are a lot of support out there, especially the country where we are. There are a lot of support and you don't have to pay for them. Thank you. And also she was able to say, she still have, it's ongoing thing, isn't it, if I get it right? That's was just last week, isn't it? So it's not as if, oh, she wouldn't understand. She's gone through it. She's still going through it. And because I know, her coming here today, she's actually been at a particular function and she's just leaving another function coming to this place, which I really, really appreciate her. And look, I said to people, I'm a Christian, I believe in faith, I believe in prayer, but you must seek medical support. You must, don't get it twisted. Even if you're a Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever, you must always seek medical support. So what I know you've actually mentioned about this thing. So this endometriosis, because I really don't know, I have to read about it. So does it mean that it's lifetime thing? It doesn't stop?
Yes, unfortunately, endometriosis doesn't have a cure yet. Hopefully, research is obviously ongoing. So hopefully in my lifetime, we will see a cure. But at this particular moment in time, there is no cure. So you just have to manage. And sometimes symptoms go away for many months and many years, but they can return. And that's why they say there is no cure. Because even if you do a course of treatment, it can grow back because it's tissue, so it can grow back. So that's why there is no cure for it at this moment in time. But let's hope with all the research that they will find a cure.
Oh, thank you so much. So as I was saying earlier on, it's ongoing, as you've heard from the horse's mouth. And we call it sharing experience because, you know, if I keep bringing professionals on the show and they're reading the books and telling you, do this, do that, or you think, shut up, you don't know what it is. So that is why I bring people who are going through things or who have gone through things so they understand the pain.
That's right. Lived experience is so important. You have the professionals, and of course we need the professionals, but actually hearing from people that are going through these issues is just as powerful.
Thank you. So in terms of this issue, I want us to kind of, I know you've talked about depression, and is there at any point you ever feel the stigma? Do you think the stigma is still there, or do you think is going gradually? Do you think people understand? Because I want us to educate people, especially people that mocks people with mental health issue and people that mocks people with, so because I think they're the reason why people are not talking.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to talk, and we've even seen the royal family. We've seen people like Prince Harry and Prince William talk about the depression they faced when their mother, Princess Diana, died. So we're seeing now that it's become much more acceptable. Even the royal family, the one that you think is untouchable, have their issues. And so we've got to talk about it. Unless we talk about it, we can't support each other. You suffer in silence. And there's no need to suffer in silence because, as you say, some people may not have the family, but there is a charity. There are so many charities in this country, Great Britain. And for any health condition that you're suffering, there will be a charity. If at least you have no family and friends that want to support you, there will be a charity out there that specializes in your condition. For example, Endometriosis UK, they have fact sheets, they have a free helpline, they have seminars and so many things. And for any health condition, you will find a charity doing that work. So there's no need to suffer in silence. Help is out there.
Thank you. So you've had that. So there is no point even keeping quiet anymore because look, I was surprised actually when I read about the Prince Harry's issue.
That's
so
right.
At least that is the first family in UK, and they made it clear that look, it's okay to have mental health issue. Prince Harry actually explained how she went through depression. I think
Absolutely.
that
their mother died at such a young age, and they would have felt it, and they wouldn't have even understood all the emotions at that time, being children, and they must have been processing that grief for many years. And they've talked about it, and they've said, look, this is what we went through, much less all of us are going through our issues. So yeah, let's be open and let's talk.
Thank you so much, Councillor. So let's talk briefly about the charity.
Yes.
So tell us what the support the charity provides. Let's just assume I don't understand anything about. So when you say charity, what do you mean? What support do they provide?
Yeah. Well, they're a small charity, like most charities. They don't receive any government funding. So all of their money comes from fundraising. But they have a small group of staff. So the first thing is they will give you information about your condition, because information is knowledge. If you don't understand what is happening to you, you can't move on from there. So they give you information, especially if you're going to the doctor, because many doctors unfortunately do not have the knowledge about this condition. So they will arm you with the knowledge. So when you're going to the doctor, you can explain everything and know how to push the doctor to get you seen by a consultant, because you need to be seen by an endometriosis consultant. They have fact sheets and they have workshops. I was recently at a seminar in Hobbiton Hospital, which I found very useful. And they also have a free helpline. So on those days when you're feeling low, you need somebody to talk to, you can call, and it's a free helpline. As you say, no charge. Call them and get emotional advice and support. Another thing they do is lobby the government. So they're currently doing many campaigns lobbying the government to actually look into this issue, fund this issue, research this issue. So, and they have had a lot of success on that. They've spoken to many government ministers, many MPs, they've been to the Houses of Parliament. So as well as helping us who suffer from the condition, they also realize that they need to be networking with the policy makers and the change makers to make change happen. So they're doing that as well.
That's really good. So that is to let you know that whatever situation you're going through, be it physical health issue, be it mental health issue, there is actually support. But if you, like people say, if you don't open up, if you don't tell me what your problem is, I can't provide any support.
That's right.
And if you keep dwelling on the fact that you don't want people to make jest of you, at the end of the day, when you get to that level where you can't make that decision, people will still know. So it's okay, like I keep repeating it, not to be okay. It's okay to have mental health issue, but what is not okay to me is keeping quiet and suffering in silence. So you can actually call on the number. We have a new number. We're not calling on the old number anymore. So we have a new number, and the number to call to ask your question to the counselor is 077 43 47 5356. So the number, I repeat, the number is again to call and ask any question. No question is stupid. Is 077 43 47 5356. If any of the admin can please type the number on the Facebook. Okay, the admin have typed the number. So the number is on Facebook, and you can actually call to ask your question. The line is open. As we'll keep talking, we'll pick up your calls. Like I said, there is no call is stupid, no question is stupid. So just call and feel free to ask your question. As you all know, you don't need to introduce yourself. The calls are anonymous. All I want is people to just get educated, to get knowledge about this thing, and just get someone to be able to talk to. So, I'm speaking really louder. So the number again is 077 43 47 5356. So I can hear response that I need to speak louder. I am trying to actually speak really loud. So bear with me. I am trying to speak really loud. So what we are saying in essence is that the counselor just explained that the endometriosis that she had is actually mainly for women. And it doesn't matter wherever color or country or type. It's not as if it's only for the black or for the white. It could affect anybody. It's actually a tissue that grows outside the womb, and it causes pain. So she's saying this is a long-lasting thing. So she had this condition when she was actually a mayor back in Dagenham. And I did ask question to say, is there any policy or law that forced her to actually let people know? Because sometimes there is a particular position that you are obliged to let them know about your any medical condition. And she said no, she doesn't have to let the office know anyone, but she did that to encourage people who are facing any problem to know that it is okay for you to be unwell, but feel free to seek medical support. Don't be ashamed. Don't let people talk you down. Don't worry about the stigma. Don't worry about anybody that is going to mock you. Leave them. You just go for the support. And in this country, she mentioned that there are quite a lot of charity that help, and even the number is free for you to actually get support. She also mentioned how some days she's actually on bed, but she said she's got a very loving family network, and also that her husband was so supportive. And this goes out to all men and women. You need to show love to people who have mental or any physical health condition. That is not when they need you to be lazy. That is not when they need you to start pretending you're unwell. You see, this is what kills people with mental or physical health issue. When they get enough support and when they get shown love, they tend to like wanting to talk more about the problem. But when all you show them is if you're not happy, or if you keep complaining, or you're thinking you see them as a burden, then they want to keep whatever pain or whatever trouble to themselves, and gradually they will be dying inside. So the number again to call is 077-4347-5356. So you can start calling now, and we're happy to receive your call. So just checking the phone is on. So so you can start calling, so we can actually we're fine to receive your call. That's it. So that's fine. So that was actually a good example, actually, because and like I explained earlier on, I said the reason why we bring people to share their experiences, because we don't want you to think it's easier said than done. These are the same people that have actually gone through the problem. And actually, so I want us to talk a little bit about how this. Okay, we'll go ahead, caller. Hello. Good. Hello. You're welcome to the program It Matters.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, the National Health Service is a wonderful thing. But when it comes to sort of talking therapies and things like that, you know, and I used to work at Newham Hospital, so I know, you know, their budget is so restricted when it comes to offering those things for every single person that has every single condition. So they don't really offer counseling for people that have endometriosis, unfortunately. You could request it, but it might take 6 months before you actually get a session. So that's where the charity comes in, because they provide all of those things for free. And that's why they've set themselves up, because they realize that there's a gap and that the medical profession cannot do it all. And so for this particular condition, you know, there wasn't, but there may be other health conditions where they do prioritize, you know, counseling and talking therapies, but unfortunately endometriosis is not one of them. But that's why I say the charity is lobbying the government and the change makers, because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But obviously we need the politicians to enforce the laws around that, and that's why the charity is lobbying the government, and they go to the Houses of Parliament and they speak to the ministers, because we need more support and we need more funding. So currently no, but the charity does provide a lot of support, so you will not, lose out, because the charity will provide that for you.
Oh, I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much, Kola. So let me just actually chip in something. So when we assess people with mental health, so some of these people, almost like 35% of people that we assess for mental health, actually their mental health issue was as a result of the physical health condition that they were unable to get support for.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So sometimes you just need to be able to understand how to walk around the system. So like somebody with endometriosis, I understand is a physical health condition. But when it becomes like you're in pain now, you're depressed, you're not able to attend to, especially when you're a single mother. So what I will advise, my clinical advice will be, you can contact your GP to refer you to IAPT. So those are actually the primary services therapies, psychology therapy. Though the therapy you'll be receiving will be working around how that condition is affecting your mental state. If you're feeling anxious or depressed, low mood, they can give you a bit of support. And they're really, really good. They kind of bring support. 4 to 6 is actually, unfortunately, just knowing that there's no particular assigned therapy. But most of these people that we'll see, the problem is actually not all mental health. Even sometimes the problem could be housing. The problem could be immigration. The problem could be, but when there is too much that you can just bear, then it affects your mood. It affects your reasoning. You become low, depressed, anxious. So then it becomes a mental health issue. So then you can then get support still from the mental health, because whenever we are filling form, we fill a form that, are you considering the clients you're seeing? Are you considering your physical health issue? How is the physical health issue impacting on the mental state? So there is still a way to work around it. That's what the fact that I just hope the government listen to, because this is a particular serious issue that, because I don't know. My other question would be, does this stop women from having children?
No, women with children, women with endometriosis can have children, but they may find it more difficult. Because it can cause infertility, and it can make it more difficult to have children. But no, they certainly can do. In some limited cases, it's not possible, but majority of women with endometriosis can have children. So that's good to know, and positive outcomes there.
So please do share the video, let it get to the House of Parliament. So let people know that we need support. We need a particular support for endometriosis, because this is actually not just a condition that affects individuals. If you have a wife or husband, obviously it's women condition. If you have a wife that is always sick 3 or 4 days in a week, the husband will be frustrated as well. And sometimes you have strong men that are able to cope with the help of God. But sometimes some people can't just cope. You understand? So they need to look into it. I'm appealing to the government of the United States to look into this. We really, really need them to check and see how they can support. And this is why this program is all about, to educate the people and signpost people, and also to plead to the government to listen. Is actually an avenue whereby we'll kind of make our case to the government, because I know they must have actually read about this. So whosoever, and they know this is actually not a joking thing. So if I'm in pain, I'm going to be irritable, I'm going to be agitated, it's just as good as if you compare child labor, this is what I've read. If you compare child labor, that for people who are really, really severely on the extreme end, that can be really, really bad. So imagine if you have to compare a child labor for 3 or 4 days. Imagine how horrible it is. So I'm appealing to all the people in power to please look into this case, and please help us to say, because it will be good to have a particular assigned specialized therapist.
Absolutely. And if you think how many working days are lost You know, the days where women like me can't go to work, that's lost. And that's losing money for the country. It's a loss of productivity. So it is something that really does need to be supported much more.
I totally agree. And because it's good you're actually in the office. What if I'm a nurse? If I'm working on the ward and I can't go to work, I can't work from home because the clients, I need to see her in the hospital. And if I'm not well, I'll get paid. Because so it's actually a loss on the government. I totally agree with you. Please, I'm appealing once again to the government to look into this. So you can start calling. Like I said, the number to call is 07743475356 to ask questions to the counselor. It's actually I'm really proud, and I must really commend you for actually being bold to be able to let people know, because I never knew, you know. The very first time I knew about the condition was, in fact, she even put it in her email. When you invite her to any occasion, when you fill the form, it's written on the lower part that I've got this condition, just for you to be aware. And I was like, wow, I don't think people can do this. It's only bold people that can actually do this, which I think she really deserves a big acknowledgement. And it's actually, I did thumb up for her, because with that position as a mayor, some people will say, I don't want people to know my business. So she's actually, like I said earlier on, she's been a role model and encourage people. So if you agree with me, my audience at home or at work or wherever you are, so she's actually set a standard for you to be able to talk about your issues, that it's okay to be unwell and you can still function about it. So the number to call once again is 07743475356. So while we are still on that, the radio station, the digital, the Dignity radio station that we have now, that we're using now, is actually open for anyone that has any program to advertise, or if you want to make any, if you're doing anything like any adverts, you want to place any adverts or do any program just like the one I'm doing, you can actually contact us on 078 5380 5993. You can contact the CEO of Dignity radio station to discuss anything you want to, if you want to showcase anything, you want to create awareness, you want to do a program like this, the Dignity radio station is available for you to showcase whatever you want to do. So back on the main issue. So on those days, you on any medication at all for this thing, or there's no medication at all?
I've tried various medications over the years, but right now at this stage in my life, I'm taking pain relief. So the pain relief, I've used various pain relief. I can use paracetamol, I've used ibuprofen in the past, but I over the last couple of years, I used ibuprofen for many years, but a couple of years ago I started to develop an intolerance to ibuprofen. So I now have to use cocodamol, which is a mixture of codeine and paracetamol. Paracetamol, if it's just mild, I leave it. If it's medium, I'll use paracetamol. If it's quite severe, then I have to use the codeine.
So is there any kind of, you know, sometimes people want to avoid medication and they want to go to the natural way. Is there any natural way?
I mean, I think diets, obviously, and lifestyle can help. So eating healthily, and particularly for endometriosis, is recommended. A lot of the pulses, the beans and the lentils. I still need to improve on that a bit more. I'm trying, but I need to do better. Nuts as well are also recommended. A reduction in dairy. So I do love my cheese, but I do
let's
take
this
alternatives as well.
Hello, welcome on the program Health Matters.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome on Health Matters.
I want to ask the lady, please, what are the symptoms and signs for the endometriosis?
Yeah, I mean, different symptoms will affect different people. The main symptom is pelvic pain, so basically stomach cramps, but you can also get back pain. Unfortunately for me, I say fortunately, it sounds funny, but fortunately, I only get back pain maybe twice a year because I know how crippling back pain can be. So that's why I say fortunately. Back pain can be an issue. You can have vomiting, which again, I get it on the odd occasion, not all the time. So I'm fortunate in that sense that I don't have it all the time. Vomiting. You can get headaches, very severe headaches, bloating in the stomach. So your stomach obviously feels very heavy and very uncomfortable. Another symptom, which is not a very nice symptom, is painful sex. So that is an indication, if you are having that you have endometriosis. It's because of where the endometriosis is located that causes that issue. There are some things that you can do to alleviate it. It might not alleviate it fully, but there are different things that you can do around that. So those are the main symptoms. You can have sometimes very heavy periods, maybe with some little clotting, or sometimes even big clotting. That is also another indication that you may have endometriosis. And I know the Endometriosis UK charity website, they have a full list of signs and symptoms as well. But those are some of the ones that I suffer from, and those are some of the most common ones that women with endometriosis will suffer from.
Oh, thank you. So all these signs and symptoms, if anyone has them, so what do you recommend they do?
Well, they need to see their GP. But what Endometriosis UK as a charity do is they will give you the words and the things. Because sometimes you're sitting in front of your GP, you lose your words, you don't know what to say. So the good thing about the charity is that they will have their fact sheets, and you prepare yourself before you go to the GP so that you don't lose your way in the office, because you only have 10 minutes. You can't waste that time. So I would recommend anybody to go onto the Endometriosis UK website. They have a section about when you're visiting your GP, what you need to do, so that when you go in there, you're armed, you're ready. Some GPs are very sympathetic, so I'm not going to tarnish your. Some GPs are very, and my family GP that I had for many years, I just think she just didn't know enough. But luckily I had a GP, a nice GP from Egypt that actually was the one that diagnosed me. But a lot of women are going to their doctors and they're just being turned away. So you need to be armed when you go to your doctor. So the charity will give you all the information of how you approach your GP. But if you have these symptoms, you need to go to your GP, because these symptoms are not normal. Pain is a symptom of something wrong. So if you're experiencing pain, we need to find out what's causing that pain.
Oh, thank you so much. That was actually a detailed information about the symptoms, because we are not saying if you're just having back stomach pain, it could be period pain. That's not what we're saying here. If you're having, it probably will be constant pain that you probably know this is not right. And obviously, if you're having just getting bloated all the time, severe headache, without being told, if you're having constant severe headache, and you should know something, and you're taking medication, on this occasion you realize the medication is just not working, then what you need to do at that time is go straight to the GP. And like she just mentioned, you had sometimes some GP don't have enough information, so the fact that you go there, they said, yeah, you're fine, don't go away. You know yourself, you know your body than anybody, so insist. Is worth checking. I always go to the GP. I want a blood test, a full blood count. So there's no harm in doing it, and they said all is well. And I go, at least that assurance is there. I do it for myself, I do it for my children. So I just want to be sure all is well. So before the caller comes in, you mentioned briefly about eating healthy.
Yeah, it's really
I want us to really talk more, because I know now this is actually part. I will be dealing about the eating habits is another topic for another day.
It is
because it's a major issue in UK. Some people can hate for England anything. So in this situation, what is it that we need to avoid not to eat?
I mean, we need to reduce for women with endometriosis, we need to reduce the lactose. I don't cut it out completely, but I reduce it. So I have oat milk. I sometimes have a dash of dairy milk every now and again for a treat, but I have oat milk. I try to drink a lot of herbal tea, so we need to reduce the caffeine. I do still like my cup of tea. I'm very English in that sense, but we need to reduce the caffeine
intake.
So we shouldn't be having 6, 10, 15 coffee tea a day. We need to cut down. And one of the strategies that I use is I normally start my day with a coffee or a tea most of the time, because you're waking up in the morning and you need that boost. But what I do now is every other drink has to be a non-caffeine drink. So if I've had a cup of coffee, say in the morning, and then it gets to maybe 11 o'clock, if I'm going to make a hot drink, it cannot be tea or coffee. It has to be either peppermint tea or green tea or blackcurrant tea. So that's also one way. Also, one thing that I did is I cut out the Red Bull. I used to drink Red Bull a lot, and I cut it out because it's got a lot of concentrated caffeine. So I cut Red Bull out completely. And as I say, if I have a caffeine drink, which is tea, coffee, the next hot drink must be non-caffeine. And that's one way that you can reduce it. If you have, say, maybe 6 hot cups a day, if you even do that, you're reducing it to half, you're reducing it to 3. So those are the strategies that you can use to help live healthier.
Oh, thank you so much. And that was actually a good one, because as we know ourselves, you know I'm talking to you. You, particularly you actually online now, and I'll be watching later. We know ourselves. We can take coffee and tea for England, and at least in a day 12 tea, and some people will make it worse. They'll put lots of sugars in it.
Lots of sugars, lots of sweetness. I don't have any tea or sweeteners. I used to have Canderel. I cut out sweeteners actually. So in my tea, I don't have any. My coffee, I need a little bit of sugar, but I used to have maybe 2-3 teaspoons, and now I just cut down to 1. Gradually, what you can do, if you just gradually reduce it bit by bit, eventually you can reduce it down to a lower level. So we need to reduce these things, because these things are not helpful for the body.
They're killing. They're really killing.
They're slowly killing us.
What I've learned, because for people that know me, they know I'm a UK 16 before. So I'm proper size 12 now. You see, what we feed our body is sweet on the mouth, but we are feeding our body with poison, with the way the habits we eat, with what we eat. So like all these carbohydrates, obviously we need energy, we need some of it, but like she rightly said, too much of caffeine, I don't even like it, it gives me headache. So I learned to take this herbal tea. All this so there are some that the flavor is really, really good. So for the one I can't do without, like I can't take tea without sugar, so I stopped taking tea. I stopped taking tea completely, and I go for the herbal one. So I swap it, because the herbal one is okay for me. I can take it without. And then if you go to Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury, any shops, you can get
there's so much choice now. I mean, when you go to the tea section, you've got about 20 or 30 different varieties of herbal tea. So there is no excuse, and you might try one and you don't like it, it's fine. You go back and there's another 20 to choose from. So you will find one that you like eventually.
So it's actually worth listening to professional advice, and especially for people who have actually walked in the path and they're telling you. So for all the audience listening to us, check on the website, the one she mentioned, which is www.
Endometriosis UK. If you just put Endometriosis UK in Google, the charity will come up, and you have a wealth of free information there.
Please, it's worth checking. Some people, like I said, they say, oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Because their excuse is that by the time I know, I'm panicking. By the time I know, I'm dying. Look, it's better for you to know now. If it's mild, you can escape a lot of things. I tell people, if you have any condition is there, you leave it till the next 7-8 years, and you get to the latter stage, then it becomes a problem. But if you have your diagnosis on time, if you realize and discover the problem on time, you can still manage it well and live a better and a healthy life. So the topic we're treating today is actually endometriosis, and is a condition that affects majorly the woman, mainly the woman. And it's actually any woman of any race, be you white, be you call brown, whatever you call yourself, black, whatever you call yourself. So it is not something that we're saying, if you don't have it, look, you can't get it. There's no point to be scared. This program is designed to educate people about likely condition that you have already. All you need to just check. We just want you to be sure you're fine. And for those people who are struggling already, you can hear there is charity, there is support for you. If you need therapy, if you're any physical health condition, and they're saying to you there's no support, in as much as it's affecting your mental state, you're getting low, you're anxious, you can still get support from the mental health services. Any physical health that is impacting on you is actually affecting you, so it becomes a mental health issue. If you're meant to wake up and you're so tired and you've had 11-12 hours sleep, but you're still struggling to get out of bed, after those long hours sleep, you feel tired, you don't want to do anything. So a lay African man or woman, oh, she's been lazy, he's been lazy. But sometimes it's not about laziness. It's about there's a particular ongoing issue that you need to look into. So the number, we still got 10 more minutes on the program. If you still want to call in, it's still okay. The number to call is 0774 356. You can ask any question, even if it's not relating to this topic. If I'm not able, I tell people there's no master of knowledge. If I'm not able to answer the question now, I've got a lot of professionals on the Earth Matters platform on the Facebook. I will forward your question to them and they will answer, and then I will let you know what they say about your question. And there's also an email. You can, if you don't want to talk, you don't want people to hear your voice, you can send. I have a lot of email. After the show, and it's okay by me. You can send your questions or query to info.health@yahoo.com. info.health@yahoo.com. info.healthmatters@yahoo.com. info.healthmatter@yahoo.com. For people asking questions on the Facebook, I think it's fair enough that you call in to ask your question. I think it's fair enough for you to call in to ask your question, because we can't see what you're writing. Though the admins are writing, they're sending it, but I think the number is actually, I think it's fair for you to, it's okay. So someone is asking about the Dignity Radio telephone number to be put online. Okay, we'll put the number again. So if you have any show that you want to advertise, any program you want to do, contact the CEO of Dignity Radio station on 078 5380 5993. You can contact the CEO on that number to discuss whatever program. If you have any church anniversary or program where you just want to create awareness or whatever that you want to do and you want them to publicize your event, you can contact them on that one. So we still got a few more minutes. Thank you so much for coming on today's program. I really appreciate it. And like I said to people, even if it's just one person that benefits on this program, even if it's only one person that we're able to encourage to then pick up their phone tomorrow and call the GP to say, this is what is happening to me, I am happy. This program is not about crowd. It's not about multitude. It's about saving, even if it's just one person that was able to listen to this program and say, you know what, I think I've had enough of keeping quiet. I want help now. I am really, really content. I'm really, really satisfied. So thank you so much for coming today, because she is actually, though she's not the mayor now, but she's still busy. Yes. Our diary is so full of. So I really appreciate your presence. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So I want to appreciate all my admins on Health Matters program. Thank you so much for all your continuous support. So you know, this program is actually designed, is once in a month, and what we do on Health Matters program is that we'll bring professionals on any chosen topic, and we discuss a topic. We talk for 30 minutes. We open the number. The new number, I repeat, is 0774 347 5356. So then that's the permanent number for Health Matters now. You can call after and ask any question. I don't need you to introduce yourself. I don't want to know you. All I want you to do is just call in and ask your question, and let's just educate you, signpost you to the right. And like I said, to me is a ministry. To me is supporting one another. To me, supporting the community. I'm not going to pay her for coming to this program. I'm not getting paid. I'm not paying paying anybody. We are doing it voluntarily. Nobody is getting paid. We are just good. It's just a way to reach out to one another to say, look, you're not alone in that situation. You're not alone in that problem. It's okay not to be okay. All we are pleading, we are begging and advising is that just ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. Don't die in silence. Don't leave it to the stage whereby you'll be forced into the hospital. Don't leave it to the stage whereby it claims your life. A lot are committing suicide, sadly, these days, that I read the story and I can just imagine what they're going through. And I imagine, is there nobody at all to talk to? Is there nobody at all to? How did they get to this stage? How come? And we as Africans, all the black minority, not just Africans alone, I want us to learn to support one another. When you know about somebody's mental health or physical health, don't mock them. Show love. Encourage them to seek support. If they know you to be a good friend, they will confide in you. If only they know you're a good friend, a trusted one, they will confide in you. Make yourself accessible to people so that they can tell you their problem. And when they do, please, as a friend, help them. Thank you so much for today's program. I want to appreciate the CEO of Open radio station of Open Ministry for his support today. He's actually in the studio still supporting us today in the person of Mr. Adeboale Bankole, aka Alagba Emilerikon. He's always been supportive. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you. So today, I want to appreciate my beautiful mother Ogatsimere. She's always there supporting the program. There are quite a lot of people at the background that you can't see them. And I want to appreciate my handsome husband. He's actually the CEO of Dignity Radio Station. So he's actually really supporting me in all ways, in everything I do. Thank you so much. And the person of Mr. Mobolaji Peter Sholanke is always there. Thank you so much, Oni. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And today we're going to be wrapping up the program. I appreciate all my viewers, all the callers. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And like I said, health is wealth. Health is wealth. If you have good health, then you can plan to the future. If you don't have good health, there is no future. So please, whatever problem you're going through, find support. Seek for help. Don't die in silence. So till we see you next month, there's quite a lot of questions and a request for next month. We'll be bringing a particular physical health on the Health Matters program, diabetic, next month.
And you know, that came into my mind. I was thinking the next program should be diabetes, and I didn't mention it, and you've mentioned it. You see,
so, I've got a lot of emails. Wow. And people want to know about diabetes. People want us to talk about diabetes. And on next month, I'll be bringing a GP on the show. I've got one of my colleagues, a GP, that has volunteered to come and deal with it. And by God's grace, we'll be sharing. This is how we do it. Just a few weeks or days to the program, we'll send flyers out on the Facebook, on the WhatsApp, to let you know the dates. Because like I said to you, these people are not getting paid. So we can't have a fixed day. We work around them. We have to, they tell me when they're available, I work around them. I'm not getting paid. And I want to appreciate this beautiful ministry that is actually giving us a place to record. All the executive member of Salvation of God Ministry, the chairperson, and the spiritual head. I appreciate you all, because look, if they don't give us a place to record, there is no way we're going to be doing this. Thank you so much. So till we see you next month, look after yourself. We are going to summer now. drink a lot. Make sure you drink more. And till next month, stay blessed. I remains Labake, also known as Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Bye.